Hello, everybody. Oh shit, this is way too close. Hello, everybody. My name is Moggle Choggle. Hey guys, this is Moggle Choggle. I'm here to show you my Subnautica hardcore base. This is mainly because I want to show my sister this base and I want to uninstall the game, but I want to be able to archive what I've done in this world. It's a hardcore playthrough. I already beat it. I should already have the Neptune rocket. I don't know when my last save was, but yeah, it's gonna be like a cool like tour of where I made my base at. I'm probably gonna play the game again at some point and make my base in a place where I haven't made it yet, like the Grand Reef is where, like, Deep Grand Reef is where I want to make a base, because I don't think I've really gotten in there because I'm scared of the Ghost of Leviathan.
Passing 100 meters. Oxygen efficiency decreased.
But yeah. Alright, here we are. I'm in the Cyclops. I think I just had gotten done with. I haven't played this world in a while. It's been like, I want to say 2 months. 2 or 3 months since I've been on here. I guess I don't have the Neptune rocket up. Maybe it just has a rendered in it. Let me go up here. See if it loads in. Because I swore, could have sworn that I started it up here. I would be surprised if the game didn't save. Oh, okay. I guess it didn't save. But yeah, we get this top-down view of my base. I think it's a very unique shape. You can kind of see pretty clearly which is going to be like the recreational side of the base and which one is the actual useful side of the base, because this one's all organized neatly and such. This one's all a little bit, I mean, it's kind of organized. You can see where I was going with this little, like, 3 multi-purpose structure here, but it's a little bit all over the place. So we'll go in through, I would call the main entrance, which is this diagonal thing here. We have 2 moon pools we'll get to in just a second. Going through here.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
This is where all the fun happens. This is where all the work happens, all the fun Subnautica inventory management. You know, we got all of these things. We got all my battery chargers, all this bullshit. We have a nice view. This was something that I really wanted to keep. I was struggling with making room for inventory, and even if I would have like not used this wall and I would have used it for inventory, I still would need to put some lockers in these little transitional rooms. But I insisted upon myself in keeping a window to see the outside beautiful mushroom forest in my garden of bright yellow glowing creep vines, and I did such a thing. I did that. So we have that there. Let's go over here. So this was the first room that was made, if I remember correctly, with a biofuel probably in this or in another room. And we go over here up to the moon pool. We get a nice, glass area over here because I'm not going to be doing anything with this area. And this is normally where my prawn suit is located. And we get nice views. For some reason, like, the moon pool has like this, I don't know what you would call it, like this like matte filter over the windows that doesn't really make it look very clear. Honestly, I used to not like it because like all these, like these windows are way more clear, but these ones are a little bit more matte. It's a little bit more glossy. But honestly, I like to chalk it up in my head like it's because the moon pool needs to have a different, like, more resistant glass than the other places. Like perhaps this is a different material, even though it just is normal glass. So yeah, that is the moon pool. We've all seen it. We all know about this. This is the garden. I figured I was going to be like melon farming, but really I rarely ever marble melon farm. I really just come over here to the lantern fruits and just munch on those because they're much easier to grab, and there's a lot more of them compared to the marble melons. It's not really much in here except for plant stuff, I just gotta have it all you know, in this room. Not really trying to be aesthetically pleasing here. And this room, you know, it's just a little observation room. I didn't really put up a ceiling on this. I suppose I never finished that, but even if there was, there wouldn't really be much to see. I can't remember if I was gonna put anything in here, but I didn't. But what's so important about this is, as you can see across the way, there is a relevant reason that I had this here. It's to balance out the other few rooms. So let's go down here. Let's go to one of my favorite parts of the entire base. Let's go back down this way. We're gonna go this way over to this room. You see, it's still way too cluttered. Like this locker right here. There's a hatch right here. There's a ladder right here. There's even a door right here. You have to be very precise when you go through this room. It makes it feel like an actual like submarine in a way. You know, the inconvenience adds to the immersion. We got some lockers here, and we got a pretty plain water filtration room. 3 of these things, I've been told, have been overkill. Prior to the finalization of the base, I had this entire room filled with water filtration machines. And I quickly learned why that's a bad idea, because they take up, I think, like 1,500 power each, so probably a little bit higher. I'll fact check myself if I end up editing this and uploading it. Yeah, these take up a lot of energy, so what makes that so relevant is over here we have some of my favorite parts of the entire base. It's very simple. We were all expecting it. This is where all the magic happens, the power. We got rods in here. We got rods in here. You've got a little observing thing, and this makes it feel much like an important research facility. You know, you can just stock up these reinforcements on these walls, and it makes it feel this whole area more significant than it really is, because really it's just a plain old power bank. But the fact that there's 3 and they're all layered on top of each other, I think is pretty cool. You got a nice little window here again to my beautiful garden, and we have some of the rest of the base. We got these ghost rays going around, and we have our first aquarium. This is a little bit out of place. This was initially to farm creepvine, because creepvine is not native to the mushroom forest. And, you know, I just want to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, so I put some kelp forest natives inside of this. So this just ended up being just like a nice, pretty little creepvine area with nice glow. About to sneeze. Achoo! Achoo! So we have this outside area over here. We're not going to go that way. We have the other moon pool, and as you can see, this is for the sea moth, which, you know, it's definitely a little bit overkill to have 2 moon pools. I mean, this is the main base, so if there was going to be a place to have 2 moon pools, it'd be this place, and they're not the craziest things to build. They're one of the only things in the game. I'm saying this like it's like a uncommon thing, but titanium ingots aren't crazy common in crafting and stuff, so this is one of the only structures I believe you can make with the habitat that actually uses titanium ingots. So you know, it's not really that crazy. The titanium ingots, computer chip, and lubricant, I think. So, you know, it's not a big dedication to make a moon pool, but yeah. Alright, so we go down here. Let's go to where things get interesting. I believe we've seen everything of this business side of the base. Let's go to the scanner room. We got a classic scanner room. I've always loved scanner rooms, you know, so I believe some people can live without scanner rooms. Me personally, I can't. You know, I love them. I like seeing this big thing. I like being able to track my ghosts, my leviathans and such. You know, I think they're very fun. I think I like my scan rooms. Look how big this is. Alright, let's keep going down the way. We go over to this nice little transition breach door right here. Just add a little bit more reinforcement. We have a nice little base exiting thing here. And as you can notice, we're no longer going to be in the mushroom biome. We're overlapping into the blood kelp forest here. But only just the tip. Just the tippy tip. So right here we have a crab squid all alone in this tank right here. I couldn't really find many creatures that I could pair up with the crab squid that really fit aesthetically. That wouldn't be conflicting biomes. And I don't think I ever prepared any plants in here. So yeah, that's a thing. Over here we have our sand shark. The lonely sand shark doesn't really have much going on in this tank either, but I do believe, if I am correct, there's much going on in this tank. Yep, you can see the bulbs over here. We have an amp eel and ghost ray, and there is a bone shark and a mesmer. This is the bulb zone area, and wow, look at those bulbs. Isn't that pleasing? Let's go back in this middle place, and then let's go visit the living quarters. We transfer over out of these aquariums. We go over, and you know, all these aquariums have an upper story, but the only way you can get to the upper story in this one, you have to go through the aquarium and then pop out the upper story. And I'm just now realizing that there isn't even a hatch in the upper story, so there's just glass up there. No reason to go up. This is how Subnautica decorating feels, folks. This is how it is. Maybe I'm not that creative as I thought. Come over here, we got an empty fish tank. I never put fish in. But we get this like sort of lounge area, this cafeteria area clearly. You know, this is another classic Subnautica home interior design thing. We see these all the time. This is another classic thing you see. This is a ladder clipping through with the stairs. This happens all the time, folks, I'm telling you. Got posters. We like the prawn suit posters. We enjoy these. Prawn suit posters. We get all of this blood kelp goodness over here. It's not the best view. I partly wanted to expand it out to get further into it, but you can't really. But there is a warper that you can see. That guy's always kind of fun to look at. Over here we have Markiplier.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome back to Subnautica. Hello everybody.
Now I know it's weird. It's because that you can see like the scan symbol. It's I suppose it's a bug that they never patched out. But I already, you know, clearly the fact that I put Markiplier on my desk here shows that I know what the fragment is. But if you scan this, I think it takes 3 titanium to build. You scan that and you get 2 titanium back. So you don't want to do that. Come over here. We come to the laboratory. See, we have a lot of important work going on over here. I'm studying a lot of things. We have nuclear disposal, biohazard disposal. We have a trash can here. We have all my carry-all duffel bags because I don't know what you're supposed to do with those. And you know, these are just decorations. They're always nice. You always see them. You only get so much in Subnautica, you know. I didn't even consider this. We have not enough space to sit. It's kind of just like an aesthetic thing, but you know, nice. Imagine having a dinner over this beautiful view. Great. Is there a way to turn off the crosshair? Okay, I don't think there is. Over here we have an empty room. I suppose I remember I wanted to build the Neptune rocket and then just flat out stop playing the game at the very end because I built my base. And you know, when you get to that Subnautica late game, it starts becoming kind of like a slog. And at least in and I believe that is the public consensus about the game. Is that the late game in Subnautica is very good. So much of it just consists of gathering resources and building boring things. You go to the lava zone. You know, going to the lava zone the first time is it's cool because
Welcome
it's
aboard,
genuinely
Captain.
the most dangerous place in the game, even if you're getting prawn suit. But when you're in the prawn suit,
All systems online.
the way that, how do I word this? The prawn suit makes you like God. I guess when you go to fucking the lava world, you're more like Superman in the lava world. Like you're not immortal, but you know you can still get your ass whooped. Or you're not immortal, but you can still you're not immortal, but you can still do some crazy work. You're still fucking invincible. Yeah. But you know, there's that slog, and you know, besides getting like kyanite, there's not really much interesting in the inactive lava zone. I don't really much enjoy exploring. I'll take that back. I do like exploring the alien, you know, foundations and such that they have, but they're not. I guess like the actual biome itself, like the inactive lava zone, is very interesting. But the actual active lava zone is just a bunch of lava. It's only interesting because those sea monster leviathans or whatever they're called are there, and even then, they're not like especially cool outside of the fact. They're only cool because they're just like a big thing in a scary area. You know, the Lost River is, I believe, known to be like the coolest biome in the entire game. You know, and that place is peak, and then you go down to the lava zone, it's just all brown, boring. Okay, we've arrived here. This is now an outpost, but this used to be the first base, and I believe it's stayed, yeah, it stayed relatively unchanged. Except that I believe I got
Welcome aboard, Captain.
There wasn't a nuclear reactor in here. I believe I always used to buy a reactor. But it was this size, and as you can see, without the multi-purpose rooms, because this was very early in the game, things were really cramped, even more cramped than we've already seen. But I've gotten rid of things like the windows and reinforcements and such, because, you know, reduced it down to still not a living space, turned into an outpost. And I'm not going to go over to every outpost, because, you know, all outposts, they do the job, put a multi-purpose room, and then the scanner on, and reinforcements on. You do the job, you know. And I have outposts pretty far and everywhere, you know, Gold Zone, Shallows. Never made a Grand Reef because the Sea Treader does the job. And I actually made the Sea Treader outpost in anticipation of getting the poop, biofuel. But you know, even though it's called Sea Treader's Path, they don't actually go there a lot. They really only frequent the Grand Reef, like the normal Grand Reef, in like the beginning, and you know, you get them there. And Sea Treader's Path doesn't have any enemies in it, you know. It's besides warpers, but yeah, no. So that outpost was pretty much a waste, and I remember having a pretty big having some frustration with making it because you know, I like this game a lot, but even now, having as many hours in it as I do, I do get kind of scared. I think the enemy that I'm scared of the most is the warper. Not out of it like purely itself, but you know, I don't want to go through Bloodkelp Trench. I don't want to go through these certain areas of the game where there's warpers, because the whole idea is the warper takes you out, they punch you, and then oh, there comes the Leviathan is charging at you, or is already charging at you as you were in your like sea moth or your prawn, in your the Cyclops. The fact that warpers can go through your Cyclops really does make it a lot better. But yeah, no, warpers definitely are, I feel like, the biggest nuisance to late game traffic. Amphiels can be annoying, but they're too situational. But warpers are pretty common. You're always gonna find a warper in a playthrough, compared to like any other enemy. Crab squids I had no issue with. Amphiels, they were pretty annoying. Bone sharks are fucking crazy, dude. But yeah. Oh, and as you can see, I didn't even mention this, but you can see the name scheme that I had for my vehicles. You have shitload of fuck, a roadkill skunk, and ass.
Seek fluid intake.
We also, I think I named my Net 2 rocket shit pickle. Yeah, I colored it like shit pickle. So, but yeah, this is the tour of my base. It's not really that spectacular, you know. There's been better Subnautica base tours, you know, with mods and all this stuff, but I believe it's a good, humble return to roots sort of thing, you know. I think there's something about bases in video games. Maybe that'll be a video I'll do one day, like a shitty video essay about bases in video games. You know, we have our Minecraft bases, we have our Subnautica bases, we have our Fallout 4 settlements, we have our 7 Days to Die bases. There's always an interesting way that these things are built, and the similarities with how we construct them. Not just like, obviously, like, you know, oh, you build 7 days to die, you have defenses and other things, or Minecraft, oh yeah, you're gonna put wood, you're gonna make your burst made up out of wood, but more so the nuances that aren't specific to architecture, but more so video games, like the fact that I believe people enjoy, what's one thing that we all consistently enjoy? We like symmetrical, nah, that's more like an architectural thing. Okay, here's one thing, I think what people like in bases, we love secrets. We love secret entrances, we love contraptions, we love doohickeys, we love windows. I think that's another architectural thing. I think that's consistent with real life, but that'll be an interesting concept to go through some designs and bases that you would see in video games that would never transfer over to real life. That would be unique to video games. Or and also something like, I watched a video by Eddie Austin where he mentions how in video games you notice how the architecture is often enlarged and it's not really realistic, like size-wise. I believe in this case, this is pretty normal. Do I have any water on me?
Vital signs stabilizing.
I believe in Subnautica these sizes are pretty normal. I don't know, maybe this is like a really tall vending machine. Because if this is my head, I'm trying to think of something that we can compare it to. Yeah, no, these seem all to be sized correctly, but like, yeah, there was a video where it was showing how like the doors were like super tall. In reality, they would be a lot smaller. I think in Subnautica they actually knew not to do that, because look how small this is. This is supposed to emulate the confines of a submarine or a large vessel, a large ship. So it's supposed to be a little bit claustrophobic, so I imagine that's why they proportion everything more realistically, you know. But yeah, anyways, that was the base tour. I hope to those who weren't... Oh shit, I almost friggin' forgot. I didn't even show off my bedroom. Where's the bedroom? Yeah, this looks pretty standard. I don't know why there's a toy car thing. This is from like one of their other games. But yeah, this is the bedroom. You know, it's quite simple. You know, you can the cuck bench, watch the bed from up here or from over here. Put the keep calm next to it. I wanted to put a window behind it, but if I wanted to put keep calm somewhere, it needed to be there. So we put it there. And there's 2 posters. All right, but yeah, if you weren't expecting this, I don't normally upload stuff like this, but this is purely for archival purposes. You know, when I was a kid, I regret not being able to archive the old Minecraft worlds and all these old Gary's Mod things I did. You know, never had them there. So this one's for the books. All right. Thank you. Peace out.